Yo, I am feeling so disgusted right now and so uncomfortable because I just watched this new movie called The Invitation. And when I tell you, it was not what I was expecting. I knew it would be a suspenseful movie, but I didn't think it would be like horror. It's classified as horror mystery genre. And I actually I ordered some pizza at the theater, and I ate it before the movie started. I tell you, I was like about to throw up in the movie. It was so gory. I'm like, who comes up with this stuff? Like, the beginning of the movie is very inviting, right? It kind of reminds me like a romantic story. And I was reminded of 50 Shades of Grey actually in the beginning of the movie. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, she's being invited to London to meet her family. So she and her friend were doing this gig. They were working this gig, and at the gig, they were advertising for like a DNA test where you can like discover your family roots, something like Ancestry.com. So she took the test, and turns out she has family ties in London. I think it was London, right? Or yeah, London. And so she goes there by the invitation because, like, on the app, right, on the website where she was learning about her ancestry, it shows like connections and people who are tied to your family, like a family tree. One of the guys reached out to her and invited her to come to London. And so this is like shown in the previews, right? So I'm like, okay, not bad. But yo, she gets there and it was like a dream come true for her. And that's how you know, like, it's just too good to be true, right? Everything was going smoothly. It was a mansion. Sorry, you guys, for the background noise. I am outside. But it was like a mansion that her family owned, very wealthy family. And she was just mesmerized. She was amazed just by, like, the wealth, the riches that they had. But, like, something just wasn't quite right. And you can tell, y'all. Something was a little bit off. This kind of reminds you of the feeling of Get Out. When, you know, he was invited to meet her family, right? His girlfriend's family. And he just got this eerie feeling that came over, like something is not right. So that's the kind of feeling like she was, you know, she was experiencing as she was kind of taking in everything, getting to know her family members, and she was introduced to the Lord of the family. Now, I'm not really familiar with like English culture, but the Lord is like a person who had like a lot of power. And in my mind, it's funny because in my mind at that moment, I'm like, damn, you're kind of fine. And like, lo and behold, I had just made a video about my dating preferences, emphasizing that I am not by any means attracted to white men necessarily, right? That's not my preference. But then I'm looking at the man, the Lord. I hope you guys can hear me. Because, like, I didn't realize the street was so busy and it's cobblestone. I didn't realize, like, okay, so the guy, the Lord in the movie, he was, like, kind of attractive. So I'm just like, I kind of started to backpedal a little bit, like, am I attracted to white men? And I like his power, like, in the movie. That's, I think, what attracts me. It's not so much, like, because I said this about 50 Shades of Grey with the Christian character in that movie. It's like, he was fine, but I think what it was is not so much, like, his physical characteristics, though. Like, he has some nice features, being clean-shaven and high cheekbones and those piercing eyes. It wasn't so much that as it was just, like, the power, like, what he represents. And so I think initially I was pulled into that by this character and the Invitation movie. But then, as the movie progressed, it's like, it got kind of weird because she was experiencing like these paranormal things where she would like see ghosts and hear things that weren't there. Basically, she was being haunted, like the house was haunted, I think by her grandmother who had passed away. So it's like her grandmother was speaking to her through these occurrences that she was, experiencing with these ghosts. Like, yo, that house was creepy as shit. It was creepy as hell. And the Lord was expressing interest in her in the movie. I don't know if you guys seen it. I'm like giving the story away, but listen, this is a spoiler alert. So the Lord was expressing interest in this woman, right? And then, like, I was like, damn, he's fine. Just like the way he was interacting with her in the movie. I'm like, damn. And then he came to her room where I think he heard something because she had knocked over something. And like throughout the movie, she was constantly like tripping and knocking over shit, because she was just not comfortable. She felt like something wasn't right. So she had broken something, and it got his attention. And he came in there and he was like comforting her. And he asked her if she wanted him to like spend the night to sleep with her, right? And so he was very respectful. Like I thought that gesture in terms of like she was in bed under the covers. He didn't get under covers with her. He respected her boundaries and like laid on top of the cover, right? So I'm like, okay. So then the movie progressed, and then like there's a wedding that he's telling her about. Mind you, this is her coming to meet her family members, right? That she discovered through this app, this DNA testing app, where she gets to learn her family roots. So there's a family reunion scheduled, so she attends, and then there's this wedding. Lo and behold, she didn't even know that she was part of that wedding. She was like the wife, right, in the wedding. And it was like, before that happened, she went into the Lord's room, the guy who had expressed interest in her, and she saw where there was a printout with her name on it, right, and bullet points about her, and like he had done a whole criminal background check, like a whole thorough kind of investigation on this woman, and that kind of disturbed her. She was like, wait a minute, like I know you're interested in me, but hold up. So from there, he was like, no, he was just trying to assure her, like, no, I just want to make sure because, a lot of people try to take advantage of me and, we having all this wealth, so I just want to make sure that, you are who you say you are and you're good to go, right? She goes to the wedding, right? It was so, this is where the disgusting part comes in, yo. I was like, what the fuck did I get myself into? What the hell is this? Yo, turns out these motherfuckers are diabolical. They are vampires and they're sucking each other's blood, and they were set out on a mission to like get her blood. And it was like revealed to her that was the reason why they brought her from New York City, because she lived in New York, brought her from New York City to London to get her blood, saying that she has like this royal blood. And it was weird. I'm just like, what the fuck? They had, one of the ceremonies, one of the rituals that they did, they had cut this woman's neck, and they drank the blood, and I'm just like, this is not my style of movie. This is like this. I don't watch movies like this, but I'm glad that I did, because I really was engrossed in it, and it just made me think. Like, I like movies that make me think, right, about my life. And just even after the movie ended, I'm sitting there like glued to my seat. I'm like afraid to get up. I'm just like, yo, like when you see a really good movie and you're taken out of your reality and put into the reality of the movie, it's like a different world. It's like it takes you a while to kind of readjust to your current reality, right? That's what it was. It was like one of those kind of movies. Just like, oh shit. So you're looking at everybody with suspicion, like, like I don't know. What's good, Larry? So this is a really good drink, but then thinking about the movie, this is strawberry, by the way. This is matcha tea. Thinking about what they were doing in the movie, like sucking each other's blood, and they grew fangs. You can see like the teeth began to change shape, change form. Like his teeth was not like that in the beginning of the movie, but then as she began to really see what the family was about, she saw them physically for who they were. It was a really good movie. It was great storytelling, great pacing, like great lighting. The thing about the lighting, that's how you knew like the movie was something mysterious. It was a horror movie because like even when she arrived to London. Granted, London is a place that's kind of gloomy, right? It's kind of like New York. They don't get much sunlight, and it's like overcast skies and dark and gray. So that's pretty much what the setting, the feel of the movie was like at that mansion where she came. But the thing is, it's funny because like the movie, most of the movie pretty much took place in the mansion at that house, right? Like you don't get to see London or the surrounding area, the neighborhood necessarily where they were. I thought that was interesting how they played that out that way. So like I would say about halfway through the movie, towards the end, she spent the rest of the half of the movie just trying to get away from this family. And even though my stomach sunk and I felt like I was about to vomit as I was watching the movie, I'm not even exaggerating. That shit was disgusting, yo. Like I warn you guys, do not eat anything before you go see this movie, because I was like, my food was trying to digest, but it couldn't like break. I think like I had some trouble like with my food digesting. Y'all can feel it like it was about to come back up because of like the gore of the movie. I'm telling you, it was very explicit, and I'm just like, I don't need to see this. Like, why did I get this tickets to this movie, yo? But at the same time, I was like, I wanted to see what was gonna happen to her, and I was rooting for her because it seemed like she had a chance to get away. She actually had sense, and she was trying to get away in the movie. Thank God. Thank God she redeemed herself, and her friend was a black girl. She actually came to London. She met her in London. I'm like, yo, where the fuck is that? A period of time when she was kind of being captured, and she was like put in bondage by this family. Like they were really trying to capture this woman, yo, and like dead in her life. Like I was gonna be into her, and she was looking around. Like before that happened, she was looking around and seeing like what this family had done to the maids that worked for them. It was gross. I was like, oh shit, hell nah, yo. But yeah, I was rooting for her, and I'm glad that she actually got away. But like that movie really had me on the edge of my seat. I was just like drawn, just like just pulled in that, like please do not kill her, please. Her the whole time, please fight, like beat they ass, fight. And she was fighting to her death, yo, to her life, for her life. I was like, it was such a relief though to see like at the end what happened. She made it out. You guys, I would say go see it, because being that, you know, the past couple years with COVID happening and there weren't any movies playing, I feel like this is a good way for Hollywood to redeem itself, right? Like, you gotta come with some fire shit, you know, and I feel like they did that with this movie. Like, okay. Because I want to say I'm a movie buff, but I really do like good storytelling. I'm a fan of good storytelling, so that was a really good story. But I'm still, part of me is like, damn, why did you see this? Because now, like, those images are stuck in my head, and it felt so real. I call it paranormal because it's like, in a sense, it is normal. That's real. Like, the shit that was happening in the movie, I do believe in demons. One of my patients asked me at the hospital where I work at a psychiatric hospital here in New York City. And my patient asked me, do you believe in demons? And I didn't say yes to demons. I'm like, yes, I believe in the spirit realm. I believe in spirits. That shit is real, yo. The spirits that be haunting people, but like the picture of her grandmother. She had a picture in her house back in New York City, but also it was a picture in the house that she went to go visit in London. And I just like how they show her, because she looks just like that woman. In the beginning of the movie, what kind of threw me off a bit was like, it shows a suicide, what appears to be a suicide. I'm like, what the fuck? They giving the movie away. And then the rest of the movie, you kind of have to unpack, okay, what is happening? Why did this woman just like tie a fucking wire around her neck and hang herself? But you learn throughout the movie, okay, it kind of unfolds, and you get to see, all right, the connection. And it's like it's sad that I guess she had to do that to get away from this craziness, you know. Those people were sick. That's like at a whole nother level of sickness right there. But I'm glad that she got away, because I like the way they played it out towards the end, where the fact that she defeated, it was more of like a curse that was on her. She defeated that curse, not just on her, but on the entire family. She was able to defeat that, and you can see like what had happened to her. It was dissipating, right? Like she had actually become a fucking vampire herself, but it's almost like she had to become one of them to deaden the curse and to end that fucking craziness that was happening in the family, yo, because they all like this were vampires, and you can see their veins, and it was just so diabolical. I'm so glad that that shit ended the way it did. I was like, yes, I can like kind of rest easy, because I don't do scary movies at all. That's not my thing. I like family dramas, comedy, like that hard scary movie shit is not me at all. So I'm glad it ended the way it did. I was like able to like feel a sense of relief. I'm in Soho right now. The movie theater actually was nice. It AMC had recliner seats, which is I kind of only like. That's the only kind of theater that I really like. Like once you sit in AMC recliner seats, you don't want to go to any other kind of theater with regular seating. So it was really nice. What I didn't like though was that the people that were sitting next to me was a couple, and this guy, he kept freaking talking out loud throughout the entire movie. I'm just like looking at him like, yo, shush, what the fuck? It's a distraction. It was one guy before the movie started, he on his phone freaking tapping with the sound on so you can hear everything, and I had to say, yo, that is distracting. And he looked up. That's the way I said it. I think I kind of jarred him a bit. He looked up. It's like, oh yeah, turn that fucking shit off, man. I'm trying to enjoy the movie, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I'm gonna say this before I end this video, is that, you know, like before the movie starts, they show all the upcoming movies that are coming out. You know, they got some fire movies coming out. So of course Wakanda, that was the first preview that they showed, and I was just like, yo, I like the sound, I like the sound design, I like the music that the score that they have for this film. Yo, that shit is, I'm like, funny enough though, it's funny enough that I'm hyping this up, right, the sequel to Wakanda, given I saw the first one when I was living in Los Angeles, and I fell asleep in it. Like after 10 minutes after the movie started, when they showed the big Marvel fucking logo across the screen, I ended up falling asleep. That was it. I'm like, this is not my thing. Like, it's not my genre at all.
I'm going to Brooklyn, so I was going to say.
Yeah. So the best hair in the biz and outfits. Oh, you talking about me? But seeing that preview for Wakanda, I'm like, yo, this shit lit. And I got like chills throughout my body as it was playing. I felt like there's some revolutionary type shit right here. That's what I felt, yo. I'm just like, yes. Of course, there's always subliminal messages though when you have these white dominated producers, right? These creatives in Hollywood are behind movies like this, that on the surface it seems like it's empowerment for, you say, yes, you silly. I am very like, yo, I told you I'm a concrete thinker, so sometimes I do not read between the lines. You have to like explicitly state what it is. Like, I have the issue even when dating. Like, I don't really know when dudes be trying to hit on me. I just don't. Like, unless you tell me directly, I like you, I'm interested in you, I don't be getting those cues at all. So I didn't know you was talking about me. Sometimes I'm an overthinker too, but yeah, I was hyped up in the previews. I was like, ah, shit, because that was the first preview. I'm like, yeah, that fucking score is like lit. And then the other movies was, it has some LGBTQ movie. I forget what it was called, but that seemed like an interesting one. I want to go see that one. They got like several movies that's coming out in September, on September 30th. And then Wakanda, what is it? I think Wakanda is November, I think. And then they have the other movie. What is that? The Female King movie. That's coming out too. So I'm like, yes. Can't wait. I might see, I don't know, depending on how good Wakanda is, I might see that like again. Like, if the movie is fire, I'll see it like 3 times in theater. It's worth it. Every time you see it, you know there's something different. Hell yeah. Speaking of clothes, I actually just went, like when I left the theater, I took a detour down the street because I had a street fair. They were selling, they had different vendors and they were selling clothing. I got some clothes, so I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to unveil that tomorrow, probably before I go to the library. I am on a quest, like I have set a schedule for myself to study for this licensure exam. So every Sunday I go to the library to take a full-length exam. Sure, good to support it too. Good to support what? Wakanda movie? Why? Because the writer-director, he's black? But he doesn't get like, what they call it? When the money keeps coming in, like he already got his money on the front end, right? I don't think he continues to get what residuals or whatever they call it every time the movie is shown in theater. I think he got his cut and that's it. The people who really making money off of it are the producers. You know that movie gonna make like $1 billion in the theater. And then, yeah, it's a movie. I think the first one made over $1 billion like in a matter of weeks. Motherfuckers was selling them tickets, y'all. I think for me, because I gave a review when I went to go see the first Wakanda, I saw it I think at Universal in Hollywood. That's where I was living at. And funny, like I gave a review, but I said this in my review. Like I took an Uber there, and I remember the Uber driver was saying that her relative or someone she knows worked on Wakanda, but it's not unlikely because everybody in LA is somebody. Everybody do something there, so you come across that often. Somebody worked on this movie, that movie, writer, director, production assistant, But yeah, my complaint with the first Wakanda, it was just too much CGI, and that to me, like I wouldn't call myself a movie buff, but I'm big on like storytelling, right? A good story, because I'm a writer myself. So I feel like if it's too much CGI or too much stuff happening on the screen, that can be a distraction from the story itself. And once I'm distracted, I lose interest. So that was like the first 10 minutes of the story, the movie. I lost interest. I'm sitting there, I fell asleep, I woke up, I'm like, what the hell is going on? I had no clue what the hell was happening in the movie. So it's pretty much a waste of money. But I couldn't even tell you what the movie was about. But this second one, yeah, I think I'm going to try to stay awake. I'm going to try to tough it out. Hopefully it's not too much CGI. It don't look like it is, though. I don't do movies with too much CGI. It was another movie I saw. I'm just like, this is so fake. How can people watch movies that are clearly fake? I don't get it. Yeah, too much CGI, it kills it. You can look at it and tell that it's fake, and especially me looking at it through the lens of a filmmaker myself. I know all the mechanics of filmmaking, so I'm looking at it and I can tell, like, yo, what the hell? I like the old way they did action in horror movies, like Terminator 2, for example. That shit was so realistic. Yeah, I think I saw that. And like Jaws, that's a good one too. They had to use CGI for Jaws, because damn well that wasn't no real shark, but it seemed real, right? And then they have like the ride, the Universal Studios ride to go along with the movie, like you're riding the movies. But they didn't have nothing for Wakanda. They don't have a Wakanda ride, huh? That would be cool. That's gonna fucking take a lot of money, but I'll be the first one to get on that shit. It's just very empowering and motivating. These Latinos here in New York are funny. A couple that was sitting next to me in theater, who were Latino. Dude, he was like, he was laughing at every little thing in the movie. I'm just like, that shit is not that goddamn funny. I mean, it had some funny parts in it, but it was not that damn funny. What's my thoughts on Chadwick Boseman not telling anyone that he was dying? I don't blame him, shit. I feel like that's some so personal, intimate details of your life. I wouldn't reveal that either. I would just rather die. I'm telling nobody that shit, so people can be looking at you. I think that would make the days leading up to your death even more um, chaotic. You know, it'll make it more chaotic, less peaceful. You know, because you have your way of coping with your condition, right? Which you probably already come to accept and at peace with it, and then other people around you know about it. That's gonna be like negative fucking chaotic energy around you. Me personally, I don't like that, so I wouldn't tell anyone either. I mean, he doesn't have children, he didn't have a wife, right? So I'm sure the people very close to him, like if he had a family, like a wife and kids, they would know, because I mean, they would be aware that he's going to the doctor, things like that. But in terms of making that public information, hell no. Because you have people talking about it, it just makes things much more difficult, like worse. So it seems like he had a nice, peaceful transition. I think that's a good thing. You say he would probably do the same thing, to be honest. Exactly. You know? You've learned that you are diagnosed with a terminal illness. You know, you go through many different stages of coming to grips with it. But once you reach that stage where you're kind of like at peace, which it seemed like he was. He didn't seem like he was distressed or anything like that. If he was, we didn't see it. So, I would think that he came to a level of acceptance of it and peace, you know. Yeah. We're doing a whole photo shoot out here in this cobble street. I'm about to wrap this up. I just thought I'd share the review with you guys. I kind of want to go see it again, though. I want to see it in the theater where I'm the only one there, or like it's just a few people there, where it's like completely quiet, because it's just too much people ad-libbing and too much stuff going on that it was a distraction for me. And I think that people obviously project their own experience in the theater as they're watching a movie, and that just disrupts yours, you know. I'm like, I didn't want to laugh at that, but you're laughing at that, so now it's like my perception is distorted because of your fucking ass. True, and people treat you special, which must be annoying as hell. Yeah, just drawing too much attention. That kind of reminds me of like my colleague, the psychiatrist on my team. Like after he learned that I live in Upper East Side Manhattan, he's always like asking me questions about Upper East Side. And that is annoying as shit to me. Like, I'm just like, I live in New York City, right? And I go other places outside of where I live. So he's always asking me, like, oh, how is it on Upper East Side? Everything he ties it back to Upper East Side. I could be eating food. Oh, did you get that from Upper East Side? And then, like, when the weekends come, like, when Friday comes, he's like, every Friday, he's like, oh, what's going on Upper East Side? Our Upper East Side socialite. I'm like, yo, most of the things that I do, I don't do where I live in my neighborhood. There's nothing happening in the Upper East Side, to be honest. And then I'll tell him, like, certain things that's happening. He don't even, like, really respond. Like, I think he just, I don't know. To me, that's annoying. It's just, I'm like, I was thinking about that. Yo, funny enough, I was thinking about that shit in the movie. Like, I'm just so annoyed. How can that come up in my mind? I'm even at work, and I'm just annoyed by just thinking about that shit. Just like, ugh. Do not ask me shit about Upper. But it makes me upset that I even shared where I live. Because everything ties back to that. And I feel like I don't like, what do you call it, short talk? Or what do you call it, small talk? I don't like small talk. I'm not that kind of person. Like, I like meaningful conversations, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like it's a lot of small, just irrelevant conversations that he just trying to have a conversation with me about something, but he's asking me some stupid ass, superfluous questions. Like, did that bagel come from Upper? Like, I bring my bagel for breakfast every morning, right? Eating a bagel. Oh, did you get that bagel from Upper East Side? What the fuck you think? No, I got it from goddamn fucking Brooklyn. No. The fuck? I got it from where I live. Just stupid question. Just stupid. Low level ass energy. Yeah, I just think that people don't think before they speak, or you know, that's my issue with dating too. Like, it's just like similar, just small talk conversations. And they be like, oh, well, how, it can be Tuesday, right? And the person will send me a guy will send me a message on a dating app and be like, how was your weekend? Yo, the weekend is long gone. It's like Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking about like today and going forward. I'm like, the past, what the hell? The weekend is behind me. I just feel like people don't even know what to say sometimes. So they just like be saying random shit. Or they say like the go-to questions, like, oh, what's your favorite color? Or like, what is your favorite food? Like, unless we about to go out to eat, like it has to be relevant to the time, the point in time, right? Unless we about to go out to eat, and okay, a discussion on food and what kind of food I like is purposeful. I don't like like pointless conversations. Put it that way. But let me wrap this up. I want to do a photo shoot. A lot of people come over here and do photo shoots. I guess this is just like the place to do photo shoots, but I guess all across New York is like nice backdrop for photo shoots. Magsy, where do you live? I would imagine you're not in the U.S. I don't know exactly where you live though. It's based on your name. It's questions and BS people think they need to ask. Yeah. I just be wanting to, like, I think they just want to fill space, that's all. And they want to, like, probably want to build with me, but that's not a way, I think, to build with me. Because he don't really want to know where I got my food. That's, like, you know where I got my food, right? You know I live on Upper East Side. It's pointless.
Where we're going, where I'm going is.
Yeah. That's a nice Jeep right there. I was gonna go to Harlem, but I think I might just go home. I only want to go out there to get this oil. That movie drained the shit out of me. I'm exhausted from watching that movie. You're not gonna say where you live? Okay, maybe next time. Alright, I'll catch you guys later. Love you guys.